everybody, this is Tom with The Board Gamer. Today we're going to do a quick overview and review for this game. If you want the full how-to, go ahead and click this icon up here or the link in the description. Now let's get into it. Flourish is a 1 to 7 player game for ages 8 and up, with an average gameplay length of 20 minutes, published by Starling Games. In Flourish, each player will play simultaneously to build a beautiful garden. You will play one card at a time until you have 3 cards in front of you, ending the round. Score for the round and do the same for the next 2 rounds. In the 4th round, play 3 cards at once, score for the round, then proceed to end game scoring, and the player with the most points wins. Flourish has a lovely and calming atmosphere, but the gameplay, for as simple as it is, will have you sweating just as much as if you were out there in a garden working. The thoughts of should I play this card or hand it off to my neighbor are constant, and you are always working with limited information. It makes thinking on your feet very important. There is a lot of strategy here, but it can be dependent on luck. Either way, you can always play solo or with 6 other friends, which is nice for a game that is not just a party game. But now let's enter this secret garden to smell the flowers and pull the weeds and see if Flourish will be worth blossoming in your collection. For the base game, Flourish is mainly a deck of cards. You have the walls and the score trackers, but the main game component is the cards. These are beautiful cards, but it's the only thing you truly need to play this game. But the walls add to the atmosphere, the score trackers make it easier to keep track of your score throughout the game. There are ribbons for solo play, but if you have the Signature Edition, the Foley's expansion adds visuals and gameplay. This tiny bit of elevation adds to the table presence to the game, making it more than just cards laying on a table. But in the end, with all these extra components, the main game is the deck of cards, with a few added bells and whistles to make it seem more appealing to the eye. When discussing ease of play, it needs to be known that how to play is fairly simple. However, the scoring can get complicated. I think this is a game you will need to play several times before getting a real handle on it. Luckily, it only takes about 20 minutes to play, so playing a few times back to back is not really a big deal. And although this game can be played competitively, it is also played simultaneously, so talking across the table and asking questions makes it easier to learn and play, which is something you will want to do the first few times, since scoring can get a bit confusing when you're not used to it yet. I mentioned a moment ago about having to play this game a couple times to get a handle on it, showing initially you will have replayability. But after that, I feel Flourish might be moved to the party game section of your collection. Not because it is a party game, but because of the player count it can accommodate. I think if this was a max 4-player game, it would get passed over quite a bit, but since you can play with up to 7 people with what's in the box, and maybe even a few more if you only use the deck, I think it is able to be used in those types of situations, but not be seen as only a luck game like a good chunk of the party games that are out there. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is the higher the player count, the higher the replayability is for Flourish. Now, when discussing luck and strategy, I have to say that Flourish is a strategy game. However, it's managed by luck. What I mean is you're trying to build your garden in the most optimal way, but depending upon the cards you choose or the cards that are given to you, you may have more cards that score based on your neighbor's garden than your own. This works out nicely in later rounds when their garden is mostly finished, but is basically all luck if played too early. The same goes for just about every card played in the first round. The information you have is limited, so you will only be able to form half of a strategy and rely on luck to get what you need. I have to say this is probably one of the heaviest luck-based strategy games I've played recently. But it wasn't bad. I normally shy away from luck, but this lack of information made it feel more like a gamble, or rather a push my luck type of game. The luck here added to the fun and anxiety of this game and had you constantly adjusting your strategy. It made my mind work more than I expected it to, and that was fun for me. The theme for Flourish is that of a garden. I like to think of it as a secret garden, but since you're giving and taking cards from your neighbor, it's not really the best kept secret. But the look of the game and laying your cards in a grid pattern does have the feeling of planting a controlled garden. The Foley's and Friends expansion add to the look and feel of a garden by having a little visitor and more than just cards laying flat on the table. Even the atmosphere of this is fun, but a lot of work to get right that comes with gardening is here in the game as well. To conclude, I want to say, just like gardening, Flourish is not for everyone. But personally, this board gamer says, a garden club is better than a garden couple. Flourish is not boring with more people, but can be limited with less. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified about new videos. If you're bored now, click this for more games.